Okay, here we go.
Good
Nope,
morning.
okay, messed up already. Let's see. Nope, did the exact same thing. Okay. Okay, nope.
I got a
Oh
feeling
man,
that
this is difficult.
race. Race.
I keep doing it. I keep going to the newspapers.
I got the
Okay, here we
American
go. No, I forgot to jump at the end there. I've
swell
not reached this part much. Okay, here we go. This is the one. Okay, come on. Yes! Oh man! 5.7. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That's a good time. Hey guys, funny man in the suit and tie back, and today I just wanted to make a quick video discussing my American Dad intro speedrun of 5.77 seconds. As you saw, there was a lot of failed attempts, and then you saw the successful attempt at the end. This took a lot of time and practice. There's a lot of things that it was very difficult to get the timing right on a lot of these things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over the run. I'm going to tell you what I did and show you how that compares to the mistakes I made in the failed attempts and how you can avoid doing them. So that if you wish to attempt doing this yourself, and if you find perhaps another bug that can make it even faster, you can then get the record for yourself. Now, this isn't the overall world record, but I think this was on Xbox, and I think 5.7 seconds might be the Xbox world record, but I'm not too sure about that. I still should probably do some more research, but I think it is. Don't quote me on that though. If it's not, then let me know. But that's all I have to say. So now I'll let you take a look at the actual run and see how I did it. Okay, so for this first skip, what happens here is this is an exploit that involves the slippers, but not in the same way as some other exploits. For example, on the GameCube, in the GameCube version of this game, there's an exploit where if you try to when Stan gets out of bed and you equip the slippers, if you press unequip at the right moment, then the game gets confused between the two states of equipped and unequipped and just sends it back to bed, and then that confuses it a whole lot and ends up with the end flag texture, which ends the cutscene really fast. However, this one involves what you need to do is you need to get the timing right with the jump button, because there's a short period of time when Stan's getting out of bed where you can actually begin to properly interact with the game and jumping and the likes, but it's a very short span of time, so you need to very quickly start jumping, and because the game is still trying to get Stan to put his slippers on, he keeps trying to send him back, so you get this very weird stuttery effect. But if you start heading towards the window while this is going on, there's a possibility that you will then clip through the window because of how stuttery Stan is working. So you will notice that in one of the previous attempts I got to this stage with the stuttering, but then I didn't clip through the window. I ended up stuck at the window, and that's because I simply didn't clip through at the right spot, so there was nowhere for me to go. You need to be very careful that you get in the right spot there. You will have also seen some attempts where Stan did successfully put his slippers on, and that was simply me not jumping at the right time, and you really need to spam it really a lot. So that was pretty difficult. Then the next thing I'm going to go on to is how to completely skip the newspaper and the front flip and that, and why you actually see the window for a few frames before Stan gets in the car. Okay, so that is likely the hardest part of this whole run, getting from the bed to the car. Once you get to the car, it's almost like it's very not very easy, but in the grand scheme of things, it's much easier to go from the car to the end of the intro. Now, for this particular part, you'll see that I've chosen to take a picture of the window in particular. This window is very important. When Stan's stuttering, he will clip through the window, and the camera gets incredibly confused at this because he then falls down, but the camera expects him to be at the window, so you get this empty shot of the window for a few seconds before it realizes that he's fallen down. And you'll notice that in a few of my failed attempts that Stan's actually seen picking up the newspaper on the ground. Now, the way to avoid this is when you clip through the window, you need to keep jumping to try and gain, and then holding forward, jumping and holding forward to gain the maximum distance. If you hold forward alone, it's not going to do enough because you need to jump at the last possible second to maximize the distance. Otherwise, you're just going to get put into the newspaper's loading zone. If you only jump, well then obviously you're just not going to get any distance at all, you'll just jump straight up and come down. So you need to spam jump and hold forward at that part. And then while the camera's panned on the window, Stan's doing his flips to the car, and by the time it realizes where he is, he's in the car. And another point I want to make is that you'll notice that the audio is very stuttery in this run, and that's simply because it's trying to keep up with what's going on, and it really struggles to do that. But anyway, on to the next skip. Okay, so for this last skip, this is probably the most important one, and you'll notice in the image here that Stan is actually outside and above the car. And if you watch the footage back carefully and you look at the frames before this one, you'll notice that Stan's car door is like shaking violently. And how this works is, once the car stops, you need to start spamming the button to interact with vehicles, so enter and exit, as well as jump at the same time. And if you get lucky, Stan will get caught in the door, which will launch him up to a certain height. And once this happens, the camera, for some reason, there seems to be a camera loading zone. So once he reaches this height, if he's not detected, I don't know why this is a thing, because you know, usually Stan's on the ground at this point and the camera pans up, but for some reason, if Stan is detected above a certain height, then the camera just shoots up to the flag and you get the American Dad logo on the screen. To be honest, I don't know how that particular part works, but it just seems to do the trick. So essentially that's how this run works. I've given you all the details, I've given you the rundown, and now you can feel free to go and give this a go yourself. Again, this is on Xbox, so I don't know if these same glitches work on GameCube and the likes. But with that all said and done, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something from this. Before I go, I'm going to give you one more full run of the whole speed run, and then I'll be signing out.
Morning, 1 more swell.